Trying to see, why is this not show my microphone going? It is going. No. Yeah, it looks like it's going. I think it's good. Let me turn it up just a little. Brent, what's up, man? Hey, am I too loud? I'm trying to adjust my volume. I'll do put it like there, maybe. Okay, cool. I noticed on some of my TikToks I come across a little quiet, so I was like, let me play with some volume in here. Guys, look, Brent, I'm gonna tell you, man, this thing has been a beast of a damn project, as you know all too well. Let me take a look at how I want to set this up. Let's do him over here. And then we can zoom him in. We'll stretch him out. Dun, dun, dun. That's fine. Let's do that. Let's just stretch him and then we'll zoom his ass. There you go. Can you see him pretty good? You can see him good now. That way we can see my charts as well as his ass. Oh, guys, this has been a night. Pretty sure I've been in my chair for the last 16 hours. Oh, man. Whew. But, yeah, guys, hang out for a second. I'm going to show you guys. We literally just finished testing this latest push with NEO and TradeVision, guys. And, man, this thing is just phenomenal. Phenomenal, guys, on what he can do. So I'm going to show you guys here on his data feeds and his stuff. He actually is funny because now when he does his introductions, right, because he has that data feed, he's able to actually kind of tell you a little bit about that market. So I'm going to put him on professional just so we can kind of keep it to, you know, the data, right? And then we can play with the funny stuff later. So, but I'm going to start him up. Check this out.
Hello again, Nick. I see the market has moved up to 29,549.94, showing significant buy pressure with a 78% buy fraction. Since price has broken back above the trend line at 29,532.75 and currently trades above the zero fib level of 29,536.50, we are seeing signs of a potential short-term shift. However, we are still well below the 1-minute EMA 200 at 29,606.75 and the VWAP. So caution is advised. Are you watching for a potential retest of those higher levels, or are you looking to see if this momentum sustains?
So immediately he's going in, going, we got this going on in the market. Let's see. No, I just sat down. I haven't even considered a trade. I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing long or short here. Do you see anything that's a possible opportunity, or should I wait for a pullback on this kind of push that we're getting and look for a long, you think? I don't know that I want to short since we're getting higher lows.
The market is currently showing strong bullish momentum, evidenced by the 87% buy fraction and the price climbing to 29,559.25. Given that we are in a push phase, chasing the move is risky, as it often leads to being caught in a trap if momentum stalls near the VWAP. A more disciplined approach is to wait for a clean pullback to support, specifically watching how price interacts with the trend line at 29,532.75 or the zero fib level at 29,536.50. If price tests one of these levels and shows a confirmed bounce with renewed buying volume, you have a much higher probability setup for a long. Does this align with how you prefer to wait for confirmation, or are you looking to monitor for a potential breakout retest instead?
I'm just kind of looking for an optimal entry. Can you give me a possible good outlook as far as where I should take a long on a price?
An optimal long entry requires waiting for a controlled pullback to retest established support levels to ensure we aren't buying into an exhaustion point. A high probability setup would be waiting for price to pull back toward the 29,532.75 trend line or the 29,536.50 fib level. Once price reaches that area, you need to see a confirmed bounce, such as a strong green candle rejection or a clear shift back to bullish momentum on the 15 seconds time frame. If that confirmation occurs, your entry would be supported by the current trend, with the VWAP at 29,622.25 serving as your primary target liquidity. Does this waiting period for confirmation make sense for your current trading plan, or would you like to discuss how to manage the stop loss if you take that entry?
No, I think that sounds like a good idea. I'm trying to look for my sessions, highs, and lows. What's my closest support session and my closest resistance session?
The closest support level is the Asia session low at
Right there, guys.
29,492.50, which provides a structural floor below current price action. For resistance, your immediate hurdle is the US session high at 29,783.75, though the VWAP at
Oh, you
29,622.0
missed
is a
the EU
significant
one.
nearer term obstacle to watch. Would you like to
Let's see what he
prioritize waiting
says.
for a pullback to that Asia low area if price begins to rotate downward, or are you looking to target the VWAP as the primary resistance for an entry?
Isn't it so cool, guys? I mean, it's crazy. Watch. Yeah, I was just looking up and I see the EU high, but what price do you have that at?
The Europe session high is at 29,729.75.
Right there.
Given the current price of 29,553.88, this level remains a significant distance away as we continue to watch for potential pullback opportunities toward the trend line.
At what point do you think this trend is going to flip bullish? I think it's still kind of bearish, right? So I probably shouldn't do a long in a bearish trend until I get some kind of pullback and bounce is what I'm kind of thinking as I'm looking at this.
You are thinking about this exactly right. A bearish trend indicates sellers are currently in control, so buying into that momentum without a confirmed pullback and structural shift is high risk. For the market to flip to a sustained bullish structure, you need to see a confirmed reclaim and hold above the immediate trend line at 29,532.75, followed by a sustained move past the VWAP at 29,621.75. Until the price can establish a series of higher highs and higher lows while clearing those structural hurdles, the bearish trend remains the dominant context. Would you like to wait for that breakout and retest confirmation above the VWAP before considering a long, or are you strictly looking for a bounce off support first?
I actually am lately taking a strategy where I'm doing a really tight micro scalp, and I'm looking at this because we have a hammer recently that bounced off of the prior low as support, and so if I get a close above that 567 prior high, I might be able to get a quick scalp in there. What do you think?
Scaling into a scalp based on a hammer formation at support is a classic approach, but you must ensure that the price creates a confirmed expansion beyond the local high before entering. Attempting to scalp a bearish trending market requires tight management, as you are trading against the immediate structural pressure. If you target that recent high near
Yeah, I can.
29,561.75, ensure your stop loss is placed immediately below the hammer wick to protect your capital in case of a failed breakout. Given the sell pressure indicated by the current 37% buy fraction, are you prepared to exit the position immediately if the price fails to hold that breakout?
Yeah, the price started moving up pretty heavy, so I just jumped into this thing, but we got a nice good momentum going up, so I'm in profit. I'm not really sure where to trail this thing, so can you help me with that?
When you are in a scalp with momentum, you should trail your stop loss behind the most recent swing low to lock in gains without choking the trade. Given your current position and the price at 29,558.69,
It's going to
trailing
see
your
that
stop
last
just
candle
below
here,
the
guys.
latest structural support of the 1-minute Lisma at 29,504.50 provides a buffer while following the trend. As price continues to climb toward the VWAP at 29,621.75, you can tighten your stop further to lock in more profit. Are you planning to scale out of a portion of your position at the VWAP, or will you look to hold for a full breakout?
If you look at the charts now, it looks like we have some nice flat bottoms there, and I'm up about 5 points right now. So I'm going to set my break even below that prior candle's flat bottom at 555. If I get stopped out, it's okay. I just want to kind of get a quick scalp, but do it safely.
That is a smart, disciplined move to protect your capital, setting your stop at 29,555 locks in your trade, allowing you to manage risk while you watch for the price to test the VWAP at 29,621.0. If the market continues to show this strong buy pressure with a 73% buy fraction, you are well positioned to ride the momentum. Are you planning to watch the VWAP closely for a potential exit, or will you let the trend play out until the 1-minute Lisma starts to flatten?
You guys notice he's giving percentages on the buy pressures, so which is cool. So let me ask him this one other thing. No, that looks good. Hey, I'm looking through my charts. Do you see any potential trap areas that I should be concerned of, or maybe something that we bounced out of?
There is a significant bearish order block at the 29,726.75 to 29,732.25 range that has been previously touched and contains trapped liquidity. As price approaches the VWAP at 29,620.75, you should be aware that the area just below the EMA 201 minute at 29,603.50 may act as a magnetic resistance point, potentially triggering short-term sell-side interest. Because you are holding a long position, these levels are prime areas for institutional sellers to defend their positions, which often results in a quick rejection. Given the strong volume, do you want to secure your current gains at the VWAP, or are you comfortable holding through a potential reaction at that EMA 200 boundary?
So guys, again, we have him with the similar logic that we use on our trap indicators right here, and so he's identifying the trap level right, similar to what the indicator does. So he's gonna see that stuff, guys. So let me see if he can tell me something here. No, it looks good. As you can see in the candles, I'm still holding pretty strong. I haven't moved my stop yet, but where do you see a target liquidity possibly at that I should probably put a TP with so I don't get stopped out?
Your first logical take profit target is the VWAP, currently sitting at 29,620.50. This level represents the volume-weighted average price and often acts as a magnetic zone where buyers and sellers engage, frequently causing a temporary stall or reversal. If the price clears the VWAP with strong momentum, your next clear liquidity target is the 1-minute EMA 200 at 29,603.25, though the order block range starting at 29,726.75 remains the primary structural target for a larger move. Given your current position, would you prefer to close your entire trade at the VWAP, or scale out partially to capture potential further upside?
I'm going to probably do the entire trail, but are you watching this? Because it looks like the bullish pressure is still pretty strong. Do you see any potential bearish pressure or some immediate concerns?
The primary concern is that you are approaching the 1-minute EMA 200 at 29,603.0 and the VWAP at 29,620.50, both of which serve as immediate resistance zones where the bears will likely defend their positions. If price fails to sustain expansion through these levels, you face a high probability of a sharp rejection back toward your entry point. Since you are opting to trail the entire position, keep a very close eye on the 1-minute Lisma at 29,515.25. A close beneath this line would signal a shift in momentum and invalidate the current bullish scalp. Are you prepared to manually close the trade if the high Kinashi candles show signs of flattening momentum before reaching those resistance levels?
Yeah, definitely. I actually just moved my stop. I'm going to secure some profit. I put it just below the 1-hour Lisma. Is that a good place to put it?
That is a very safe placement. By trailing your stop to just below the 1-hour Lisma at 29,569.75, you are locking in a portion of your gains while giving the price room to breathe against minor pullbacks. Since your stop is now sitting right in the middle of your profit zone, you have effectively eliminated your risk on the trade. Are you planning to let the remaining position run toward the VWAP at 29,620.25, or will you tighten the stop further if we see a test of the 1-minute EMA 200?
I'm just looking as well. I think I see the ORB just above that. What price is that at?
The orb high is currently at 29,629.75. Since you are trading toward the VWAP at 29,620.25, keep in mind that the orb high sits just above it, likely creating a significant zone of selling pressure, liquidity trap, that could stall your momentum.
Do you see that recent doji there? Should I be concerned about that?
A doji indicates market indecision, which is a classic signal that the current momentum may be stalling. In a bullish move like yours, a doji right below the 1-minute EMA 200 resistance suggests buyers are hitting a wall and sellers are starting to show interest. Given that your volume is currently showing sell pressure with a 44% buy fraction, this is a clear warning sign to tighten your stop loss or consider taking partial profits. Are you planning to hold through this potential stall, or would you prefer to lock in your remaining gains now?
So I'm gonna try to give him some wrong information and see if he corrects me. Well, I mean, since you said that the bearish trend is still going, I think I'm a little concerned that it might come back on that because I still see it kind of as a bearish trend, don't you?
You are absolutely right to be concerned. Even with your bullish scalp, the 5 minutes time frame is still in a bearish trend, which means you are essentially trading against the prevailing macro structure. The low buy fraction of 16% confirms that the buying pressure is drying up rapidly as we approach the resistance zones. If you
Do you
want to
see that
protect the profit you've made,
the
this
buy
is an
went down to
ideal time to close the
16%?
position before the market attempts to revert back
That's
to that
cool.
larger bearish bias.
Man, that buy fraction at 16.54% seems pretty low. Where did all the buyers go?
The buyers have exhausted themselves as price approached the resistance zone created by the 1-minute EMA 200 in the VWAP. When the buy fraction drops this sharply, it signals that the market is no longer finding the value needed to push higher, and sellers are likely beginning to step in to defend their positions. This is exactly why you were right to be concerned. The momentum is failing right where it should. Would you like to exit the trade now and lock in your gains while you still have the advantage?
Yeah, I went ahead and took your advice on that and went ahead and closed it for $300. So that was a good trade. Appreciate the advice.
That is an excellent result, Nick. Taking that profit when the buy fraction collapsed was a disciplined decision that prioritized capital preservation over chasing a potential breakout. Locking in $300 while the momentum was stalling shows you were effectively managing the trade rather than letting your emotions dictate the exit. Are you looking to step away from the desk now, or do you plan to reset and monitor for the next high probability setup?
I'm not going to step away because I'm not going to enter a trade, but I still want to kind of study a little bit. I can't recall, but we pushed up pretty hard today. Where do you see the all-time high at?
The all-time high is currently sitting at 29,783.75.
See that?
We are currently trading at 29,578.50, which puts us comfortably below that level but showing enough strength to keep the structure interesting. Studying these levels in relation to the current price is a great way to build your market awareness.
And then you can, guys, and he can give you all this market awareness. I mean, he knows about all the stuff now, guys. The traps, the ORBs, all the moving averages, the macro, micro, support levels. He can give you decent setup advice, right? He does also, now, at least he did, right? We're trying to work through it. He's being stubborn. He can give you advice, right, with defensive positioning, right, lowering your volume and things like that. But he's got all the data, man. He is absolutely killing it. So I was taking some of his advice while we were kind of working on him, and so as we were kind of falling, right, he kept telling me, hey, we got pressure coming down, don't take a long. And I kept forcing him, saying, man, I want to go long. And he's like, no, you need to wait. He's like, wait. He literally had me wait until like up in here, and then once he allowed me to take a little scalp there, right, then he told me to wait for a pullback because I told him I got out of profit. And I was actually taking these trades. And he goes, now that we have the pullback, if this holds a higher low because of these hammers, right, you want to look for that kind of close or that buyer force coming in. And it was really cool. You got stuck in a short at 519. Let's see. Hey, I have a friend of mine that is stuck in a short at 29,519. He's low volume. Do you think he should be able to ride this out, or where should he set a stop loss where he thinks he's in trouble? He's got quite a bit of drawdown left.
Your friend is in a precarious position because they are shorting against a 5 minutes bullish trend and a current 1 minute bullish bias. With the price at 29584.0, they are already deep in drawdown and holding a short while price pushes up toward the VWAP at 29,619.75 is high risk. A critical point of invalidation for his short is the 1 minute EMA 200 at 29,601.50. If the market breaks and holds above that, the upward momentum is likely to accelerate, making his short extremely difficult to recover. He should consider setting a firm stop loss just above that EMA 200 to prevent a catastrophic loss if the breakout continues.
See? And so let's see. No, I was thinking the same thing on telling him that, and then I was looking at it. He's still got about $1,500 in drawdown, and he's only like 1 MNQ. I do see the ORB just above that, and it's not much further. Do you think giving it a little more room to breathe is worth it, or to see if the 200 EMA is going to hold, or should we just kill it if it gets above that 200 EMA? I think it paused me on there. Hold on. I see the ORB just above the 200 EMA there, and it's not that much further. What holds more weight, the ORB or the 200 EMA? Because I'm trying to decide if I should move that up a little bit.
When comparing the weight of technical levels, the 1-minute EMA 200 is a significant trend boundary, but the orb levels provide broader session-based context. In this specific scenario, the EMA 200 at 29,601.25 is the immediate hurdle that confirms if the current bullish momentum is sustained, making it the most critical point for your friend's short position. The orb high at 29,629.75 is a larger structural level, but if price breaks through the EMA 200, the path to that orb high is often a quick, high momentum move. For his risk management, the EMA 200 is the more urgent line in the sand to determine if his short has any chance of recovery or if he is simply adding to a losing position.
Yeah. What he was thinking is doing like a defensive position because he has so much drawdown. So he was kind of thinking of doing a stop loss sitting up at about 29,650. Then if the market begins to come back and go against the ORB and then it breaches below that 200 EMA, he would be able to add a defensive position. If it gets back below the 200 EMA, he would be able to add a defensive position and maybe better his entry.
Adding to a losing position by building a defensive scale is extremely dangerous, as it often compounds losses if the structural trend continues against you. Averaging into a trade while the market is pushing against your initial bias effectively turns a manageable risk into a much larger, emotional problem. If he intends to scale, he must wait for a confirmed rejection at the EMA 200, such as a sharp reversal candle or a failure to break and hold above it, rather than setting an arbitrary limit. If the price does not clearly reject that level, he is just adding more risk to a trade that is already significantly underwater.
Oh, that makes sense. So the 200 EMA, since it's so significant, I'm thinking if I get a breakdown here, you see how we have that bearish Heikinashi. If we get back below that on a close and I do a equal volume DCA, that might get my entry above the Lisma on the 1 minute time frame and I can get out of this.
Scaling into a position to lower your average entry is a high-risk maneuver that only works if the market confirms a genuine reversal. If you attempt this, you must see a sustained rejection at the 1-minute EMA 200 followed by a clean break and hold beneath the 1-minute Lisma at 29,544.25 to confirm that sellers have regained control. If you don't get that specific confirmation and the price instead pushes through the EMA 200, you will be holding an even larger position against a strong bullish trend. Is your friend prepared to accept a total loss on this trade if the market continues its move toward the VWAP instead of rejecting?
I don't know. You willing to accept that? Oh, I get it. So I shouldn't just look at taking the double top rejection that we're starting to get here if we close below. I probably should be concerned about that 1 minute Lisma because if I don't break that Lisma, that could go against me pretty hard, huh?
You are correct. A double top formation at this level is a strong signal, but it requires a confirmed close and expansion below the 1 minute Lisma at 29,546.75 to validate the reversal. If price fails to break and hold that Lisma, it confirms that the underlying bullish trend is still fighting back, and your short position could quickly face a sharp squeeze. You must prioritize the structural support of that Lisma over the theoretical double top. Are you prepared to exit the short if price simply bounces off that line instead of slicing through it?
Not bad, huh, Brent? Let me ask one more. All right, that sounds pretty good. Hey, looking at the chart right now, if you were to potentially want to take a trade, would you be looking more long or short bias based on all the technicals you can see?
Based on the current confluence of indicators, a short bias is more technically supported, but you must exercise extreme caution. While the macro trend remains bullish, the immediate price action shows a loss of momentum, a declining buy fraction of 35%, and a clear rejection near the 1-minute EMA 200, which serves as a major structural barrier. If you are looking for a high probability setup, I would watch for a confirmed break and hold below the 1-minute Lisma at 29,549.25, which would signal a shift in short-term control toward the sellers. Given that we are still in a macro bullish trend, any short entry should be managed as an aggressive scalp with a very tight stop loss above the EMA 200 to mitigate the risk of a trend following snapback.
See how detailed he's able to look at the market and actually give you that advice, guys. And we're gonna keep fine tuning some of his logic as far as the market and tickers and all that stuff. But you guys want to see something really cool? Check this out. Check this out, guys. Ready? All right. Let's go into here. I'm just going to change a couple of these. I don't want to do too many. We have other stuff, guys. All you got to do is come in here. You're going to change that symbol to whatever you want to go to. All right, well, now that we're done helping my friend, I want to take a look at the MES. Can you tell me what you see in there?
The MES is currently trading at 29,571.13
Ah, didn't do it.
and
We
is
haven't
showing
tested
signs of
the other
weakening,
symbols.
with sell pressure dominant and the buy fraction down
I
at
gotta tell him.
21%. We are seeing
Alex
the price
broke
test
it.
the 1-minute Lisma at 29,553.25, which acts as immediate short-term support, while the 1-minute EMA 200 at 29,600.0 remains a clear ceiling for any near-term upside. Because the 1-minute bias is still technically bullish, but the 15 seconds time frame has shifted to a bearish angle, the market is in a state of flux and high uncertainty. Would you like to wait for a confirmed break of that 29,553.25 support level to confirm a short entry, or are you looking for a bounce to play a range-bound scalp?
All right, so we were testing all the MNQ, guys. I was hopeful to see if that was going to go. So I let Alex know that it's not getting that symbol. So let's take a look at BTC. There could be a chance that I need to refresh on that. I got to ask Alex on that. But let's take a look at BTC. Can you tell me a little bit about BTC?
Bitcoin is currently trading at 29,568.69,
Yeah, so he's not getting the prices. Let me see.
showing clear signs of weakness with sell pressure and a low buy fraction of 27%. Price is struggling to reclaim momentum, remaining below the VWAP of 29,619.0 and the 1-minute EMA 200 at 29,599.75, which acts as a key structural ceiling, while the 15 minutes EMA 200 is providing a floor at 29,512.75. The overall immediate trend on the 5 minutes time frame is bearish, suggesting sellers are in control. Are you looking for a potential bounce off that 15 minute support level, or are you monitoring for a further breakdown below it?
So I have to, I guess Paul and Alex are working on the other symbols. That's what they're telling me. So I told them I was just going to do MNQ, but let me try to refresh something because I want to check something on that. Hold on. Let's see.
Hello again, Nick. Since we last spoke, BTC has entered a new bullish order block between 29,563.25
Yeah, so they're still working on that
and
symbol, guys.
29,573.75, and we are currently seeing a nice uptick in buy fraction to 62%. Price is now testing this zone and holding above the trend line at 29,563.25, which gives us a much more constructive setup for a potential move toward the VWAP at 29,618.75. Are you planning to look for a long entry within this order block, or do you want to see a bit more confirmation before moving forward?
Yeah, so I'm just sending that over to him, guys. And so, guys, the plan is we've been testing it. And, the M&Q and the NQ is what we were looking at mostly on that when we were testing it. But we actually have it, guys, where it's gonna give out oil, BTC, Tesla, Microsoft, whatever you guys want, even crypto. So we got it all to work. So it just looks like I guess he's modifying something on the back end to make sure that can read those symbols. So, because we were just guys, we literally got off of doing this. We've been working on this for the last like 14 hours. I feel like, and today, and so I was like, man, I'm gonna get off and just play with this thing on TikTok here for you guys. So, this is TradeVision, right, Neo, and guys, it's an exciting thing that happened today by getting this done because I don't see any reason we can't launch this guy next week. The mentor group is going to get him probably tomorrow as well as VIP. So to sit here and be able to trade with him. But the concept is you're going to be able to flip through any kind of pairs, symbols, crypto, whatever you want, and you can just sit there and trade with him all day long, right? Ask him questions, see what he thinks, levels. Let's see if he identifies a trap here. I just flipped back over to MNQ and I do see a potential trap on the 1 minute. Do you see that?
Yes, the structure is currently showing significant bullish intent, but we have multiple trap inducement zones active on the chart. Specifically, you are pushing right into a dense area of liquidity where the market often creates traps to catch late buyers before a potential reversal near the 1 minute EMA 200 at 29,601.25. Since your buy fraction is quite high at 83%, the market is clearly in a chase phase, which is exactly where these traps are most effective. If you are looking to long this, ensure you have a clear plan for a rapid exit if the price fails to punch through that EMA 200 cleanly.
Yeah, and so anyways, guys, he can see all the levels, the sessions, the highs, the lows, the ORB, all the stuff that I teach, all the stuff, the technicals. Um, we added in a lot of logic for him to throw out percentages like that, like buy pressure, so he can tell you, what percentage of the buy pressure is coming in, or sell pressure is coming in, or whatever it is that you're looking at, right? And so, guys, the amount of data that we pushed today, I thought for sure we were gonna break his ass. I'm not even gonna lie, and man, it was not easy. So we had to beat up so much stuff, and it took a very long time, right, to push this because we've been building him to read the market, but he couldn't see the market. Right now, he can see it, right, and so you could literally ask him like, "Hey, do you see what I'm seeing?" And he's gonna tell you, "Yeah, I see that." Um, and the beauty of it is, guys, is AI can see so much more than we can as traders, right? And so when we are sitting here trading, right, when you're dealing with AI, I may sit here and go, man, are you looking at this push? Like, I'm thinking about taking a short off of this, right? And then he might be able to say, hey, you got a trap just below you. You might not want to do that quite yet. And I go, oh, shit, didn't see that, right? And so as traders, it was really funny. Like I was mentioning, I was joking with him on the way down. I'm like, man, should I go long now? He's like, no, wait. He goes, you need to get into that lower support. Wait till you get out of that green area, right, of support. And, he was calling levels, telling me to be patient. And a lot of times we run into that issue, right, where we have issues with our patience and our discipline. And so now you have, a little AI trading buddy, right, that you can bounce ideas off of. You can ask questions. If you're on this TikTok live or YouTube live here that I got going on, and you're new, we are going to add a beginner personality in there, so he will talk to you like a beginner, right? The beauty is, guys, he's not just giving data feeds, right? It's not like it's a bot. He is literally AI that's going to help coach you on things. So I can even come over here and say, hey, I was just thinking, I don't think I'm going to trade anymore tonight, but man, I would really love to learn more about candles. Can you help me about that?
That's a great decision to step back and shift into study mode after a profitable session. When we look at candles, specifically the high Kinashi type you're using, think of them as a way to filter out the noise of standard price action to focus on the underlying trend. High Kinashi candles are calculated using a formula that averages price data, which helps smooth out market volatility so you can clearly see the flow of the trend without getting distracted by every small, contradictory tick. A classic example is when you see a long string of green candles without lower wicks that represents strong, sustained momentum in the direction of the trend, telling you to stay patient and hold your position rather than panicking at a minor pullback. Since you're interested in learning more, would you like to start by breaking down how to interpret wick signals versus body size, or should we dive into how to spot trend exhaustion using specific candle patterns?
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing what AI can do. And guys, so you don't have to be trading. You can literally sit here while you're waiting for a setup and ask them questions, right? So yeah, candle patterns are actually interesting. Can you tell me the most common bearish reversal patterns?
A common bearish reversal pattern is the shooting star, or inverted hammer, at a resistance level, which signals that buyers pushed the price up but were overwhelmed by selling pressure, leaving a long upper wick.
So he's
Another
still talking
reliable
about
one is the
candles, right? Because we
engulfing
asked
bearish
about it.
pattern, where a large red candle completely overtakes the body of the previous green candle, showing that sellers have seized total control. Think of it as a tug of war where one side wins significantly. The long wick shows buyers got exhausted, while the engulfing body shows sellers stepped in with conviction. Identifying these after a strong move is crucial because it confirms that the push has hit a ceiling and the pullback or reversal is beginning. Would you like to explore how to combine these candle patterns with support or resistance levels to increase the probability of your trade?
Yeah, that could be great. What is the highest probability candle pattern for me to look for when I come off of a support to give me the best optimal entry for my long? Why are
The
you
highest
awake?
probability setup to look for off
Always.
support is a bullish engulfing or a hammer candle, provided it occurs with an increase in buy side volume. These patterns act as clear signals that the tug of war has shifted back in favor of the buyers, confirming that the level is holding. In practice, if price tests your support zone and produces a candle with a small body and a long lower wick, the hammer, it shows that sellers pushed down but were immediately rejected by buyers. Waiting for that next candle to close higher confirms the intent, allowing you to enter with a much tighter stop loss below that support level. Does it help to think of these candles as the market's intent, rather than just static shapes?
So again, guys, you can just literally sit here and talk to him all day long, and he is gonna continuously. And he's on professional, right? We're not doing the entertainment part of it quite yet. If y'all want some entertainment, man, whoo, buddy, you put him on sarcastic, he gonna tear you up. Like he was tearing me up yesterday. Uncensored is probably one of my favorite ones. We did make some modifications on it because he was getting a little crazy with it, but I was just gonna want to put it on professional now. But you can put them on friendly, professional, funny, sarcastic, uncensored. We're gonna put a beginner mode. We're actually thinking, honestly, guys, about putting like a teen or a kid mode, right? Something that talk to me like a 5-year-old, right? That I've always believed, and I did that with my kids, right? Where when they're young, I mean, instead of being out there playing video games, why not teach them a skill, right? That can change their life. So, but let's ask them about this trade. Hey, I'm kind of getting the itch. Do you see this bearish momentum going? And we're starting to breach that 1 minute Lisma. If we get a close below that prior low, this looks like a good setup, don't you think?
You are reading the price action correctly. The shift in the 1 minute Lisma and the building sell pressure make this a high interest area. If the price closes below the 1 minute Lisma at 29,549.25 and confirms with a breakdown below the most recent local low, you have a solid technical argument for a short entry. However, remember that you are still trading against a macro 5 minutes bullish trend, so this should be treated strictly as a scalp rather than a long-term position. If you pull the trigger, would you look to target the next liquidity zone near the 29,513.25 level, or are you planning to manage it even more aggressively?
So I'm going to ask him, right? So I love what he just did there. Did you see what he said? So as he looks at this, right, he didn't say take it below the Lisma. He called out the price of that 29, what did he say, 549, right? If you look at that, that is sitting about there. And so that's smart because you want to get below these prior highs. And so that's what he's looking at. So I was trying to set him up a little bit. Let me question him on it. You said a close below the 1 minute Lisma at 29,549, but I don't see that as the price. What price do you have Lisma at, or why did you say that price?
I apologize for the confusion. Looking at the current data, the 1 minute Lisma is actually at 29,554.75. My previous reference of 29,549.25 was a misstatement based on a slightly older data tick. The key structural takeaway remains the same, a confirmed close below the 29,554.75 level, paired with a move under the bullish order block at 29,563.25, is what would validate the bearish setup you're tracking. Does focusing on that specific 29,554.75 level provide a cleaner confirmation for your potential short scalp?
I think his Lisma is slightly off on that, so we'll keep looking at that. Again, guys, the biggest kind of hurdle that I'm so excited about, which is why I wanted to get on here, is the fact that he is interpreting this. Like, that's huge. Everything else from here, guys, is just tweaking it, right? So, but yeah, as far as all that stuff, we're gonna keep working through. Oh, he's doing great, man. Like I said, he was making some crazy good calls, and the beauty is now he can actually, like I said, determine bullish and bearish pressure, right? And so I can ask him that. So right now in the current market, are you seeing more bullish pressure or bearish pressure?
The market is currently in a state of high uncertainty, as evidenced by the balanced volume and a 51% buy fraction. While the macro 5 minutes trend is technically bullish, the price is currently struggling below the 1 minute Lisma at 29,577.50, and the immediate bias across multiple timeframes is shifting toward a bearish angle. Think of this as a period of consolidation where the market is searching for its next move, until price can sustain a break and hold above the 1 minute EM 200 at 29,597.25 or firmly collapse below the recent structural lows. Neither side has a clear, dominant advantage. Would you prefer to stay sidelined until we see a definitive push in either direction?
Oh yeah, no, he gives advice. I mean, he's literally, like I was saying, right? I can come on and just ask something super simple. I just honestly, I'm thinking about doing one more trade here. I am really close to getting a payout on my prop firm account, and I just need to make about $100. Do you see any optimal entries that I should look for? I don't care if it's long or short. What gives me the best chance to have my profitable trade of $100?
The market is currently in a narrow consolidation zone with balanced volume, which makes this a high-risk time to force a trade. To secure a $100 gain without unnecessary exposure, the best approach is to wait for price to decisively exit this compression, either by breaking and holding above the 1 minute EM 200 at 29,597.0 for a long, or by closing below the 1 minute Lisma support in the bullish OB at 29,563.25 for a short. Entering now would mean gambling on direction in a choppy environment, which is exactly how traders often undo their hard-earned progress right before a milestone. I strongly advise you to wait for a confirmed expansion move. Would you prefer to monitor for a clean breakout of that EMA 200 resistance to clear your final profit hurdle?
So guys, notice he literally gave you the advice of where to go. So he says he don't want to take a long until you get above the 200, get out of this compression zone. And if you notice, his short was below, it closed below that 563. And so he's going to be able to tell you, the optimal entry areas, right? And you can actually ask him his concerns. So I can say, I like your short option, but I'm going to wait till it gets out of compression. But if I were to enter that trade at the 29,560 area, what's my biggest concern that I should worry about as far as my target? Like, what should I be targeting?
If you enter a short at the 29,560.0 area after a breakdown from compression, your primary target liquidity is the 15 minutes EM 200, which currently sits at 29,513.25.
There it is.
This provides a clean profit path, but you must be aware that the 5 minutes macro trend remains bullish, meaning that area will likely act as a strong support zone where buyers attempt to re-enter. Your biggest concern should be an order flow trap near the 29,536.50 level, where the zero fib level could cause a sudden bounce or aggressive wick rejection against your short position. If price stalls significantly at that fib level without clearing it with strong bearish volume, you should be prepared to secure your profit early rather than waiting for the full target.
And yes, guys, he can calculate the fib levels. We only have him doing the golden zone, so you're only going to hear about the 382 or the 618, but because we don't want to do too much data. But well, guys, did you notice, those of you in here in the community, you guys know how I do that also, right? If I want to take a long, I want this open air, right, up in here. If I want to take a short, I want to find open air down here. If you look at the long, right, if you come up into this open air, you do have that 200 that's kind of in the way. So him looking at this saying, hey, you're better probably looking at a possible short. And if we do get that close back below those highs, we would be targeting that 15-minute 200 EMA, which is spot freaking on, guys. So if we get that, so absolutely phenomenal, man. Um, but guys, I'm not gonna stay too much longer. I'm absolutely exhausted, but I was fueled by excitement. So again, guys, this is just another hurdle of the things that we're creating, guys. He's gonna eventually be trading for people. So he's gonna be trading your money on TradeVision or crypto or whatever you want him to trade, right? And so we're excited for this big hurdle. This is a massive hurdle, guys. Because he can actually see the market now and trade, or give you the guidance, man. And so, the whole point is I want people to have that ability to ask him questions and guide him through trades, right? Or give him optimal entries. We're going to add a little more data that allows him to do some math. So you can literally say things like, hey, if I take this short with a 1 NQ short, right, with a stop loss above here, what would I lose, right, if it hits it? And he's going to be able to tell you. Go to bed. Mentorship meets at 7:30. I know. I'll be there. Chuck, always looking out for me. I know. I'm fueled by excitement, man. So, again, guys, if you want to check it out, if you're on here just curious, nextstepalgo.com, come in and check it out. I'm gonna play with them a little bit more tomorrow. To that point, Chuck, as you know all too well, man, it was just super important to me to get this guy done tonight because tomorrow being Friday, I really wanted to get it in the hands of you guys. So you guys are gonna have full access tomorrow to play with him. So. And again, guys, once we get that symbol part of it sorted out, you can sit on here and trade oil, gold, silver, Dogecoin, Bitcoin, SPY, SPX, whatever you want. It doesn't matter, right? And so we're going to have a whole lot of things that you can trade. And you don't have to go into an open session and listen to everybody and have awkward stuff if you're not trading the, M and Q that we trade in our open sessions. You can just go into TradeVision, right? And just trade with whatever you want. So, oh yeah, man, it's this has been a damn day and a half, but this was such a big hurdle, man, and I was just absolutely just determined to get it through. So I'm excited to see what he can do tomorrow, guys. We're gonna have some fun. If you guys want to check it out, you can follow me there on TikTok, and if you're on the YouTube, right, you can subscribe there. And guys, we're gonna do some awesome things here, so you're not gonna want to miss this. So check it out at nextstepalgo.com, and I'm gonna drop off of some of the